if you're shopping for a comic reader on your list, if you want to become a comic reader, if you're just shopping for yourself and maybe you missed some of this stuff during the year, here are recommendations. And we'll kick things off with Injustice, Volume 1 hardcover. We've talked about it many times. Josh has been reading the single issues. I'm following it in collected edition, and it's who's it for? We'll make this easy. We'll say the name of the book and who's it for. It's for fans of the video game Injustice: Gods Among Us. It's for DC Universe fans. It's for people who like Elseworlds and what-if stories, because this is definitely a what-if type of situation. It doesn't take place in the mainstream DC Universe. And it's just a whole lot of action-packed fun and really strong writing. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when DC or Marvel or anybody does video game tie-ins, it's like they get the janitor who's been sweeping up to write it. But Tom Taylor's doing an amazing job writing this, and I can't wait for the next volume.
Next up, we've got Joker, Death of the Family, and who's it for?
This is for Joker fans, obviously. Whole lot of Joker in this one. It's for Batman fans, primarily Joker fans. Yeah, it seems like there's a book every year or every couple of years that you can just sell to Joker fans. We had the Joker hardcover by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo a number of years ago. Of course, Killing Joke is one. And one of the reasons we picked this is because both Joker and the Killing Joke are in our best sellers of the last 8 years of the store being open. And I think this one is going to make that list too. This is, why don't you tell them?
This is the, so we had the Death of the Family crossover. At the very beginning of the New 52, the Joker cuts his own face off and runs away in the sewers, leaving his face in Gotham City. As you do from time to time, you forget your keys or your face. That's how it is. And he's gone for a year, and this is when he comes back, steals his face and straps it back on, and then torments everyone. The Joker's opinion is that Batman, the great shining knight, the most important person in the world to the Joker, is being brought down and weighed down by his family, the people he loves, by Robin and another Robin, a third Robin, possibly some kid in a hood, Batgirl, and some guy with a mustache named Pennyworth. So the Joker sets out to make Batman stronger by eliminating his allies. And it's really good. I think this is a great book for anyone who cares about the Bat family. If you're a Batgirl fan or a Nightwing fan, a Red Hood fan, or Jason Todd fan, a Red Hood fan, it's just a lot of fun. It involves everybody, and it's very good. It's twisted and dark, and the Joker manipulates them in creepy ways. And
it's a great Batman / Joker story to pick up for the holidays. Next up, we've got Star Wars Volume 1, and there's
something about Yavin.
Something about Yavin, yeah. In the Shadow of Yavin.
something Yavin.
It's called. It's from Dark Horse Comics, written by Brian Wood, artwork by Carlos Danda. We've talked about the single issues before. This is for Star Wars fans. No two ways about it. This picks up shortly after the end of A New Hope, Episode 4, and kind of fills in the space between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Or I should say between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. Really strong writing, great characterization, fantastic artwork. Makes this a no-brainer, very simple choice if you're buying for the Star Wars fan on your shopping list. And I guess while we're here, we'll talk about Star Wars Jedi Academy. This is written by Jeffrey Brown, and who's it for? It's for fans of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because it is essentially Diary of a Wimpy Kid in the Star Wars universe. You have a kid who has an older brother, and the kid is supposed to go off to pilot school, but he doesn't get in, but instead Master Yoda chooses him for the Jedi Academy. And this young Padawan runs into mischief and merriment and all kinds of crazy stuff at the Jedi Academy. So perfect if you have a child that enjoys the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, or if you enjoy those yourself. I would highly recommend Jedi Academy. Should I do the next one too?
You probably should.
All right. Next up is March, Book 1. This is written by Congressman John Lewis, along with one of his aides, whose name I'm forgetting, and artwork by Nate Powell. This is basically Congressman Lewis's story of the civil rights movement. It's the first of 3 volumes, and it's for fans of history. It's for fans of civil rights. It's for people who want to be educated and feel something when they read comics. I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, I just read yesterday that the publisher,
Drawn and Quarterly?
Top Shelf,
yeah.
Is giving every member of Congress a digital copy of this for Christmas.
Oh, it's digital?
Yeah, I know. Oh. That kind of... the people in Congress...
They're on the go. They have enough paper as it
honestly, sidebar. How many people have you seen some of these Congress people? They're like 100 years old. Odds of them having a Kindle or an iPad, they're going to give this to one of their aides and say, read it and summarize it for me. If you gave them the physical book, top shelf, then they would have read it. Because I've seen some of these guys. They've been there their entire lives. Term limits, Congress. Term limits. That's what I'm saying. You can't be in Congress for 35 years. You just can't. If you can't get the job done within 2 4-year terms, go away. Get out of the way. Let somebody else in.
And that's why George Bush Sr. only had 1 term, because he didn't need another one.
I don't know what Josh is talking about. And we're back.
And we're on to Quantum and Woody #1. I'm sorry, Volume 1. Quantum and Woody, written by, I don't even know.
James Asmus.
James Asmus. Oh, the Gambit
Pull that
guy.
out of my Asmus.
Yes, that was nice. Written by James Asmus, is a superhero buddy comedy. It's for the people who like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and Tango and Cash. It's for people who like Batman and Booster Gold and
48 Hours.
It's for everybody.
Not the Dan Rather News Show, the movie with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte.
Well, sometimes Rather's funny, but Beverly Hills Cop. We're just gonna keep naming movies.
So who's this for? People that like
comedy,
buddy, action, adventure, comedy stories, but more on the action adventure. And there's sci-fi and freaky villains and.
That person you know who, when you talk about Point Break, they don't groan. They go, "Oh, that's awesome." If they like Point Break, they will love Quantum and Woody.
And we know there's only one person in your life that reacts that way when you bring up Point Break.
It's me, isn't it?
Oh, Sonic and Mega Man, Worlds Collide. Now, I have to be honest with you, I haven't read this. But
Full disclosure, I don't read Sonic or Mega Man, and I owned a Sega Genesis for about 30 minutes when I was in college and then got tired of it.
So, Sonic and Mega Man, these 2 classic video game characters collide. The book is actually called Worlds Collide. This is for fans of Sonic, fans of Mega Man, fans of Archie brand comics. There's really limitless potential with Sonic Mega Man.
Next up, we've got Hawkeye hardcover. This is the first 11 issues of Hawkeye, plus the Young Avengers Presents Hawkeye special, and it is awesome. Written by Matt Fraction, with art by a bevy of people, David Aja primarily, and some other people probably, when fill-in issues happened. But this is the day in the life of an Avenger when he's not avenging things. This is Hawkeye just being a regular guy, and screwing up, and scratching and surviving. I'm going to go start singing the Good Times theme song.
Temporary layoff.
Good time.
All right.
Ain't we lucky we got him?
Yes. So this is for, who's this for? This is for
the image reader who doesn't want to read Capes and Tights books.
Yes.
This is the person that likes artsy-fartsy movies but doesn't want to see the Avengers. This is for the people that like to have feels in their comic books.
This is for the person in your life who you want to get into comics,
yes,
but doesn't read comics.
She may or may not have ovaries. I'm just saying, ladies like Hawkeye.
Ladies do like the Hawkeye, yes. All right, moving on. These 2 are not new this year, but we put them on the list for reasons which will become obvious shortly. We'll do them both together. X-Men Days of Future Past and Captain America Winter Soldier.
Ultimate Edition.
Why are these on the list, you say? Because both of these are the inspiration for movies that are coming out next year. So Days of Future Past is the foundation of a movie called X-Men Days of Future Past. Great story, classic story. Chris Claremont, John Byrne. I think it'll be cool for those of you that are fans of the movies, the X-Men movies, but don't read a lot of comics, to read this and then see how they're changing things for the film. Because we can already see they've made some pretty big changes in the way things are going to play out. But it's a time travel story. In the comic, it's Kitty Pryde whose consciousness is transported back in time to prevent some horrific future from coming to pass. And in the movie, you'll see that it's Wolverine who does that, because movie fans love Wolverine. Because Hugh Jackman needs to make a Wolverine movie every year. He's going to be... He's setting the record. I think he's going to set the record, if he hasn't done so already, for one actor playing the same character.
Could be. I don't know. Plus, it's hard. Once you get your hair to grow like that, you can't just stop. He can't be anybody else.
That's why he shaved his head for Jean Valjean.
That's why. Days of Future Past is awesome. I have nothing else to add other than the interesting tidbit that the story, originally set in the 80s, they leap into the far future of 2013. So I feel old. But Cap Winter Soldier is our other choice, and this is a modern classic. This is arguably the most important Captain America story of the last 10 or 15 years. And it's the beginning of Ed Brubaker's acclaimed Captain America run. It sees the reintroduction, or the introduction of the Winter Soldier.
Do we need to spoil it?
I don't know. We'll not spoil it because there's a movie coming out, but it's super awesome.
This is, yes, Ed Brubaker did the impossible with this story and brought back one of the characters that should never have been brought back.
Except it worked.
No comic book fan wanted to see this character brought back from the dead. There were only 2 or 3, and so this one was taken off the list. And everyone is very skeptical, but at the end of the day...
I'm just going to spoil it right now. Winter Soldier is Uncle Ben.
The rice guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Russian. You didn't know
At the end of the day, everyone applauded the way that it was done, and comic book fans they marveled at Brubaker's writing wizardry. Great artwork by Steve Epting, and if you like Brubaker and Epting, by the way, they have a new creator-owned book called Velvet, which is on the stands. Issue number 2 came out this week from Image Comics. So, these 2 books, Days of Future Past, Winter Soldier, the things that you can give Marvel movie fans, and they will be ahead of the game when these movies come out. Captain America comes out the first week of April, and X-Men Days of Future Past comes out in May, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right.
So that's it. Our top 10 list of comic books that you can give to friends, family, and yourself this holiday season. You can't go wrong with any of them. And there are many more that we could have added. So if you have any suggestions that you want to leave in the comments below for our viewers, if they're out shopping, looking for great things to buy at Alter Ego Comics or their local comic book store, leave the comments below and help a brother out. Help him, okay? Great.
Could be a sister, you don't know.
Yeah. Does anyone become a sister anymore? Anyway.
We're talking about nuns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, tune in, NBC Live, Thursday night, Sound of Music. Anyway.
And how do you solve a problem like Maria?
How you shoot her, I think.
Okay.
You recast her as Carrie Underwood. What? Say what? All right, this has been a rambunctious episode of Alter Ego Comics TV. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.